30 right now.
Okay, all right, so let's call the meeting to order. I'll ask Commissioner Notarianni to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't know what happened to Doreen. So, David, will you take notes in her absence and we can update her? Okay, welcome everybody to the November meeting of the Lackawanna County Prison Board. I trust everybody had the opportunity to go through the minutes which were circulated in advance of the meeting. And if so, I will entertain an order to waive the reading and adopt the minutes from the October meeting.
So moved.
Second. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. The October minutes are approved. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to address the board on agenda items? Joan?
Joan at Scranton. I just want to thank the board for coming through with the audit for the canteen and inmate accounts. I think that's a good thing to initiate, and I hope it continues year after year. I think it'll serve you well. Thank you.
We liked it so much we're going to do it again today because we were a little premature last month when we did it because it hadn't made its way onto the agenda, but we're going to...
At least you're in the right direction.
Right. But thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to address the board on agenda items? Okay. If not, the first item for approval is the motion to approve all the current payables for the Community Corrections Center and the prison. Again, like the minutes, they were circulated in advance of the meeting. If everybody had an opportunity to look at them, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
Yep, I'll make the motion.
Okay. On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The current payables are approved. Now, we'll get to the motion that Joan was thanking us for, to accept the proposal from Kohansky and Company as the accounting firm to perform the audits of the prison canteen and inmate accounts at a cost of $4,500 each. So Mr. DiBileo in his office circulated the request for proposal and reviewed the receipts and made a recommendation last month.
Yes, we did, Your Honor. We discussed it last month. Two proposals, requests for proposals were accepted, and Kohansky, based upon our rating system that we put together, was the lower price and for just the same quality as the other proposal was.
Okay, and just
So
to be
we were
on,
recommending Kohansky, and we had Joe Weschler, the purchasing director, involved in the process.
Okay.
And he totally agreed with our office and recommending Kohansky.
okay. And just to be redundant, they don't do any work for the county.
Not that I'm aware of. at
Okay,
all. Yeah.
and they haven't done any work for any of the members of the board in our elective capacities?
No.
Okay, all right. So based upon that, I'll entertain a motion to accept the proposal.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Was that a second?
Okay, I think
That's
the
okay.
sheriff seconded.
I have to turn up my hearing aid. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Will there be some paperwork to tie that up?
If we haven't already, I'm sure we haven't done that. Reggie, do we have a contract to sign for them, for Kohansky?
We didn't make up a contract yet. We're waiting for approval.
Okay,
Okay,
so you can go and do that now, Reg. Thanks. Okay.
thank you.
All right. Okay. Next on the agenda, Mr. DiBileo, you still have the floor.
Okay, thanks. The Controller's report of the prison inmate and canteen accounts for October of 2023. The Controller's office reviewed the prison inmate and canteen account reconciliations, which were prepared by the prison business office for the month of October 2023, and found no discrepancies between the reconciliations and the bank statements. The balance in the inmate account was $409,886.52 as of October 31st, 2023. The balance in the canteen checking account was $337,925.93 as of October 31st. And in addition, as of October 31st, the canteen account also included a balance in the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust investment accounts of $875,575.79, which is earning approximately $4,099 per month in interest, and which will mature in January of 2024. And during the month of October, $95,090.06 was paid from the canteen account for the benefit, welfare, and education of our county inmates. And an itemized sheet is attached to my report, if anyone would like to review that. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for the Controller? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve his report.
I'll make a motion to approve his report.
I have a second. I have a second on the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. DiBileo's report is approved. Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Mr. McConaughey on the Community Corrections Center. Norm?
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the house arrest report for the month of October. Adult house arrest had 194 participants, juvenile had 20. House arrest, programs revenues, house arrest had $61,267.22. Juvenile had $3,880 for a total of $65,147.22. And year-to-date for both departments is $616,236.15. Programs expenses was $72,831.43. Programs completions, we had 40. Violations, there were 5. There's still 4 outstanding warrants for house arrest. In the budget report overall, overtime's at 94%, expenses at 86%, and revenues at 91%. That's the end of my report.
Any questions for Mr. McConaughey? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Community Corrections Center report.
Motion.
Second.
Second on the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Norm.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Warden Betti.
Good afternoon, Board. The average daily population for October was 773 inmates, 596 were county inmates. And we averaged 656 adult males, 6 juvenile males, and 111 adult females. The average daily population of U.S. Marshal detainees was 177. Staffing update, currently our correctional officer numbers break down to correctional officers on shift, 172 full-time officers. Out on workers' comp, 6. FMLA, 0 on continuous FMLA, 62 with intermittent FMLA. Administrative leave, 0. And 4 full-time vacancies for 182 full-time officers. Sadly, on November 1st, we lost Officer Mike Mitchell to an unexpected and untimely death. And our condolences go out to the entire Mitchell family. Mike will be missed. Budget as of October 31st, 2023, revenue was at 84% and expenses were also at 84%. Extraordinary occurrence reports, there were 7 in the month of October. October 1st, a newly committed female was non-compliant with the booking process and then expressed suicidal ideations, and staff placed her in the emergency restraint chair for safety and transported her to a camera cell for observation. On the 7th, a female who was on a constant one-on-one watch covered her cell's camera and the window of her cell door. After numerous attempts to get her to remove the obstructions, a decision was made to place her in the emergency restraint chair, remove her from her cell, and clean her cell so that proper observations by staff could be made. During the placement in the ERC, this individual continued to struggle, and staff needed to utilize the handheld EBID, it's an electronic body immobilization device, to obtain control of her. On the 8th, a female became physically aggressive with staff, and a decision was made to place her in the emergency restraint chair and to move her to restrictive housing unit. On the 9th, a female was being disruptive during med pass, and she was ordered to return to her cell but refused, and the situation escalated to the point where this individual began to swing at officers, and a decision was made to place her in the emergency restraint chair for the safety of everyone involved. On 10/22, a newly committed individual was being non-compliant with the booking process. A decision was made to place him in the ERC for the safety of everyone involved. On 10/29, an individual was displaying signs of a mental health crisis, and as staff attempted to secure handcuffs on this person to safely return him to his cell, he attempted to pull away from officers. He then swung at the officers, and he attempted to spit at staff. Subsequently, he was placed in the emergency restraint chair for the safety of everyone involved. And last but not least, on 10/31, an individual who was classified as special handling with violent tendencies committed an assault on 2 staff members and another inmate by throwing a concoction of urine and feces on them as they walked by him. This person was using the shower in the block when the assault occurred. It was learned that he had an altered razor on his person as well. Because of his recent assaultive actions and because of his possessing an altered razor, staff decided that he needed to be removed from the shower and that he was to be placed in the emergency restraint chair so that everyone would be safe while we searched for the altered razor. On the front end of the extraction, staff used a pepper ball launcher to introduce OC pepper spray into the shower stall before the extraction team entered. Staff then safely removed the individual from the shower and safely placed him in the emergency restraint chair. Shortly thereafter, staff recovered the altered razor from the shower area. PREA, there were no PREA investigations completed in the month of October. And personnel, there's only one item, and I didn't know if you wanted to go into executive session to discuss it, but we had one individual interviewed successfully for a part-time receptionist job. I don't have any issue with just openly recommending her for your consideration, or if you'd rather go into executive session, that's obviously your choice.
Okay, I think we'll go into executive session, thanks.
Okay. And this concludes my report.
Okay. This electronic body immobilization device, I know my memory isn't what it used to be, but I don't know that I've ever heard you refer to that before. Is it something new?
It's something that's rarely used. It's kind of, it's not technically a stun gun, but for lack of better description, it's a stun gun. It's a handheld device that has,
Okay.
when you press it, it has a wave go across it. And
Okay.
It's a taser.
a taser without the legs.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the warden?
I just wanted to extend our condolences to the Mitchell family, and Officer Mitchell's death was not related to the prison in any way. It was-
No, sir, it was
Yeah.
not.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Tim. I'll entertain a motion to approve the warden's report. Do I have a second?
Second?
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
I know, I meant to ask you this, Tim. Are there any issues that you were aware of with voting? I know Bev approached us before we began the meeting and says she wasn't able to give a report yet because she doesn't have all of her information yet. I was just curious whether or not you
I
might be
believe there
aware.
were 3 individuals that, because of the charges that they were being held on, weren't able to register. They were being held on felony charges, I believe convicted or potentially sentenced. I'm not 100% sure about the sentence part, but they didn't qualify for registering because of their felony charges.
Okay,
That's the only thing I'm aware of.
okay. All right. Thanks. So, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. The warden's report is approved. Any new business from any of the board members? And does anybody from the public wish to address the board at this time? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Rick Cephas, President of the NAACP Lackawanna County Branch. Pleasure to see everyone again. Basically, I know last month I stood before you all and I presented an opportunity to create a NAACP prison chapter here in Lackawanna County. And my fault, because the only one I was able to email was the warden as far as all of the criteria, what goes into creating a prison chapter. I think I got the rest of the board's emails last night and I forwarded it to everybody. So I'm hoping that everyone will get an opportunity to read over that. After this meeting, I will be speaking with the prison chapter chair for the state, in which he will guide me further as to what all goes entail to creating one from the ground up, so that way I can share that with you all.
Okay.
So, hopefully everyone will get a chance to read over that. I will be back next month to hopefully see if I can get some sort of feedback from you all, and I will be providing more information as I get it. I guess a few other questions that I had coming in when you're discussing those that are in restrictive housing. Is there a way that we could possibly get a report on that as far as how many are in there and the duration they've been in? And also when it comes to the restraints that are being used on the inmates, is there any evaluation by a mental health professional after the fact to ensure that whatever the issues they may have been experiencing at that time have been resolved? Therefore, we can, try to alleviate any further actions by that particular individual. As far as the voting goes, my question to you is, was there any discrepancies between the conduct of the voting between the primaries and this last general election? My understanding was there was no issue with the inmates that were eligible to vote at basically having a ballot box in there so they could vote, versus this time the ballot box was not available. Inmates were told that they had to request a mail-in ballot and that the postage would be on them to mail that out. And my question is, what was the difference between the primary and them voting and the general election now?
My recollection, and I think Tim can speak to it as well, with the primary, I think individuals from voter registration actually came out to the jail and assisted. But this time, there was some suggestion that they'd have to pay for their own postage, but we covered that postage. So
So would you say then on any election day that, the Board of Elections come in to conduct and bring a ballot box to make it easier on the inmates to cast their votes?
On election day, no, because they're staffing in this building with all of the counting and all of the ballots coming in from around the county. But this is mail voting, so it's in advance of election day.
Okay. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that, going further that, those inmates that are eligible to vote, making sure that their votes are submitted and are counted.
Oh, yeah. No, we're committed to that, and I can tell you that you have a very staunch ally in Bev DeBarros here, who is very vigilant about the voting procedures.
Okay, thank you, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else from the public? Okay, any other business from anybody on the board? And if not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Did you want to go to executive?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Thanks for reminding me. I'm a bit distracted this week. So I'll ask everybody to step out, and this won't take long. Okay, we're back in session, and we had an executive session on a personnel matter. And so, Tim?
I am recommending that the county hire Gina Kirkpatrick for the position of part-time receptionist. If the board votes in favor of this recommendation, I'll submit the proper paperwork to HR for the signatures, the commissioner's signatures, to get that ball rolling as quickly as possible.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to hire Gina Kirkpatrick for a part-time position as receptionist, I believe Saturday and Sunday,
Saturday and Sunday.
at the prison.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.